Okay. All right. Well, I think Glenda's going to introduce Estrella, but let me just say thank you so much to everybody for attending our second CAN of the year so far, and also to those that are in person at our PAM convening. Hello over there. Hello out in the world. Thank you so much. We're going to have a great session with some CUNY updates. I'll let Glenda in the big room say a few words.
Good,
Ooh.
good morning, everyone. So happy to have people in person in the room with us, and all of those of you who are on your laptops, joining us from all across New York State, I assume, because we have some Long Island folks who join us regularly. So happy to introduce one of our dear partners with New Visions, our CUNY partners from upstairs. They're only 4 floors up, so it's always happy to have them here with us. And today we get the pleasure of hearing firsthand from Estrella Redondo. She's going to share with us around some CUNY updates for this year in terms of recruitment, as well as how enrollment went for this past, for the fall of 2024. Estrella, thank you so much for doing this with us, because I know she has one foot out the door ready to catch a taxi or her plane right after this is done. And FYI, Anna is already here with us, so she's been here handing out materials for all of us in the room. So thank you for joining us again for the second CAN, and we hope to get as many updates and information so we can prep our students for CUNY App month coming up. It's today all yours.
Thank you so much, Glenda. And thank you so much, Sandy, both of you for inviting me to be here again this year. This is, I want to say this is the second time that I've provided CUNY updates to this group. So again, thank you for having us, especially at the beginning of the year. So like Glenda said, I'm only on the 8th floor, but today it just so happens to be that I'm catching a flight to go to the NACAT conference. And so I'm logging in from home, but I do have one of my fantastic colleagues with you there in person. Her name is Anna Ying, and she is our Manhattan recruiter. So either she has or is handing out some packets for you guys that has a lot of goodies inside, in a folder that maybe you can use throughout the year, and some graduate school pens. So for any of you that are maybe looking to go back to school, feel free to visit us on the 8th floor. We have a whole graduate team that can meet with you on that as well. So again, I'm not doing this alone. I want to give a shout out to Anna for being there. And we also have our fantastic marketing and communications person, Fahim, who put together these slides for us this morning. So let's get started. Some of the photos that you'll see here are brand new photos from marketing and communications. You may have seen, or you will see some of them on the subway, and on different in the airports. And if you take the Metro North, Long Island Railroad, you'll see them as well. My name is Estrella Redondo, pronouns she, her, ella, and I serve as the University Director of Student Recruitment. I've been in this role now a little over a year. Prior to here, I worked at one of the CUNY campuses as the Director of Enrollment Services. Prior to that, I was at a private institution, and I've worked at CUNY schools before that, and at SUNY. So overall, about 20 years of experience in all 3 different sectors. So again, super excited to be here. And another fun fact is that I started in this office 15 years ago as an admissions recruiter. And so it's super excited to be back here now in this role. So what are we hoping to share with you today? I want to stress to you guys all of the resources that we've organized and that we have on our Counselor Corner page, so that you guys can go there and get information, see events that we're hosting specifically for you guys, see tutorial videos that you can use to help your students, see where the counselor portal lives. So we're really, really trying to push you guys to our Counselor Corner page. So we'll talk a little bit about that and everything that lives on there. Have some announcements where you guys have probably already heard. We've been sharing announcements since June on dates that we were able to share, and we shared them again at the beginning of the month. But again, we're here today, so we'll reiterate very important dates that we want you guys to keep in mind. And then hopefully we'll have time to take a couple of questions. So first things first. On our Counselor Corner page, we have 2 counselor handbooks. One handbook is for our New York City Public School partners. And in there, you will see information on how to submit letters of recommendation, the importance of having the OSIS number so that we can pull the transcript. Do you need help with your CUNY First login? So things like that. It's not a long handbook. It's about probably 8 pages. And Anna, who's in the room with you guys, is the one who actually created both of these handbooks. So there's one for New York City Public Schools and there's one for non-New York City Public Schools. And so basically this came together because the team, along with Anna, took all of the questions that they've been getting for many years and put them in a handbook. And so for those of you that have been able to go through the handbook to see this information, we always get great feedback on it. So please feel free to go into the handbook. You may even see if you reach out to your CUNY representative, they may reference the counselor handbook, attach it as an attachment to an email and say, or rather the link and say, please check page 7 so that you're able to refer back to it later. So we're really, really proud of these pieces. If you want to print them out and keep them on your desk, please share them with as many folks as possible. But it really goes into basically all of the questions that you guys ask us throughout the year and one super duper helpful handbook. So again, the handbook will also cover any technical issues that you may have. And so it'll be different for both New York City Public Schools and non-New York City Public Schools. I wanted to take some time to also share with you all that each of you should have a CUNY representative. If you do not have a CUNY representative and you're wondering who that person is, please email me or work through Glenda, excuse me, or Sandy. I think I combined you guys, or work through Glenda and Sandy, and I can go ahead and let you know who your representative is. But everyone should have a representative, and they're going to be the folks that you're going to reach out to do a presentation, to attend your college fair, to meet with counselors in your school, to host an application workshop. So they're going to be your go-to person. I'm also here, so you can reach out to me, but you have a dedicated person that is responsible with communicating with you and answering all of your emails. And the way we have it set up in our office is when you reach out to us and you email counselors@cuny.edu, that email goes directly to your CUNY representative. And so they will respond to you with any questions. But again, I'm here if needed. Another thing to add to this slide before I move on is that we do have a small team, and I actually have a photo of everyone at the end of this slide of all of our recruiters. We have a really small team that does all of New York City, Long Island, Westchester, New Jersey. I'm excited to share that we will be hiring 3 new folks, which will allow us to be able to cover more events, which will allow us to be able to respond to emails quicker. Obviously, we need to get them trained, but wanted to share that with you guys because that is super exciting for us. So if you look at this slide, you're going to actually see a video of our Counselor Corner page and what it looks like, what's on it. At the top, we are sharing information on our free application dates, which I have a whole slide dedicated to that. So I'll talk more about that in a moment. But this is showing you all of the resources that live on our Counselor Corner page, as I mentioned before. So those helpful counselor handbooks are on there. Video tutorials, our updated admissions profile is on there. It was just updated at the end of last week. Any past presentations, recordings, and information that we want to share with you to invite you to current events. So for example, we are currently hosting our fall CUNY counselor conferences. And so we just had our first one last Friday at the College of Staten Island. It was a fantastic event. Our partners with CSI were great to work with, and we had special topics and special sessions on disability and accessibility resources. We went over our portal, TREX, and Sharon and I provided university admissions and recruitment updates, which actually a lot of that information will also be in here as well. I strongly encourage you guys to join us for any of our next CUNY counselor conferences. So we have 4 more. Next one is at Bronx. Then we have Hunter, Kingsborough, and then LaGuardia Community College. So please consider joining us for the day. It's usually the day runs from about 8 a.m. to about 12:30, depending on if you want to participate in the campus tour. So let me know, or let your campus representative know if you have any questions about that. You can register, and the link to register for our fall CUNY Counselor Conferences is on our Counselor Corner page. Moving right along, we started this last year, right before October 2023. We created an undergraduate events page. And what this is events that we host in our office, which I'll go into detail what those events look like, but you could also see if you could read small print, you could take a look to see some of the sessions that we offer. What we are doing with this page that we find super helpful is that we're pulling undergraduate admissions events from all of the campuses, including our events, and having it right on one page, so that you can share it with your students and your families. We've had some counselors attend. We did a transfer student panel last April for Community College Month. So we've had counselors also attend some of these events as well to be able to share the information with their students. And you can also filter by, if you're looking for our virtual information sessions just from us, you can filter that. Or if you're looking, let's say, specifically for Kingsborough Community College, you can filter that way as well. Excuse me. Events. Events for both you guys, counselors, or partners, or CVO access partners as well. We offer in the fall, I just mentioned all of our in-person CUNY counselor conferences that are happening. But in the spring, we started just last year offering virtual counselor cafes. And so every month we pick a topic and we will share that information. A lot of the times we'll bring a speaker from CUNY Central to be able to share more information. One of our probably the highest attended session that we had last spring was how to help your undocumented students apply to CUNY. Not sure if any of you in the room were able to attend that session. It was a great session. We had over 100 counselors, and since it was such a great session, we'll probably offer that again, but I am also looking to change some of the topics. So all year round, we're offering professional development, and we're offering information for you guys to have. So again, in the fall, those will be in person, and in the spring, we'll offer them virtually because we know how hard it is for you guys to sometimes get out of the building. And so we want to offer that flexibility in the spring to have them virtually. Information sessions that come out of our office. We host a general information session, which literally covers for freshmen, for transfer, our adult learners, CUNY Online, and then we have a freshman application workshop. We actually just had one yesterday, and we go through the application and all of the steps and everything that you need, the information that you need to be able to fill out the application. Again, we did one yesterday. We probably do 5-ish of those in the fall. And we also host Macaulay honors application workshops. I know that Macaulay and their team host information sessions, but we do Macaulay honors application workshops. So again, same thing. We're going through each piece of the application. Snapshots of the application are on the slide deck so that we can show you exactly what to expect and how to upload information. We also started, or rather brought back, multilingual information sessions. And so we are right now offering information sessions in Spanish, and information sessions in Mandarin. My hope and my dream is that we can expand that and include Arabic and Russian, and French. But right now, I'm happy and I'm excited that we're able to offer those two sessions, and we try to do them once a semester. So please go ahead and share this information. You'll see it on the undergraduate events page. We'll probably send an email once we get more events on our page to let you know all of the events that we have so that you can share them out. But definitely for the multilingual information sessions, if you have any families that their first language is Spanish or Mandarin, and they would benefit from hearing about CUNY in their native language, please send that information over to them. We try to make those sessions later in the day, so at either 5 or 6 p.m. Okay. We also share information, all of the great work that's being done through CUNY Fast and the FAFSA workshops. We also share that information as well. As we all know, last year was a very interesting year. And so we made sure to share all of the great outreach and all of the workshops that was happening in our area of financial aid. And either you guys had a financial aid presentation or you will be having an amazing financial aid presentation today from one of my colleagues at CUNY Central. And then I mentioned the fall CUNY Counselor Conferences. So I wanted to give some overall university updates to you guys. So if you guys follow us on the news, you will have seen some of these titles, some of these taglines in social media. And so we're super duper excited about all of the great work and all of the great recognition that our colleges are receiving. So I just want to take a few moments to share that with you today. You can Google and read the articles specifically, but we have 5 CUNY colleges in the top 10 of the Wall Street Journal's ranked best value colleges, 9 CUNY colleges in the top 25 colleges with highest payoff by Forbes. We received 672 million in external research awards, which is big because that's a record high for us. So that's the highest. And I'll skip the next one. I won't read through all of them. Obviously, I know you guys can read the slide. But the last one on here, 9 CUNY faculty-led projects recently received $100,000 each from Google to support research in AI, data analysis, and network security. And so this is information that working in CUNY, we know all this information and we're super excited when we have it. But we want to make sure that we share this out with you guys. And again, if you search it on Google, you'll be able to find, or on our website, you'll be able to find the articles with specific information for this recognition, for this great recognition that we received. A little bit of an update. Glenda mentioned in my intro that I was going to talk a little bit about what fall admissions looked like for us. And happy to share that we are up across the board. Obviously we want to be even higher and more up, but you know, we take it and we're super excited. And there was a lot of work that went into from our office and especially from the campuses to be able to get their students not just admitted, but then the process of enrolling them and making sure they stuck around for the start of the fall semester. So no need to read this information. You guys can see it on the screen, but we have, again, increases across the board for fall admission. And also we're super excited about this. Free application dates. So we have started sending out emailing out this information since the first week of June. So in the first week of June, we sent out an email, end of year, thank you for all that you do. And then we sent a welcome back email in September. We've also had these dates on our Counselor Corner, and we just sent another email this week, or maybe that was the end of last week, with everything that you see, the exact verbiage that you see on this slide. So I want to take a moment to really go through this and take my time with this slide. For those of you that are part of the New York City public school system, your free application period will be from October 21st until November 15th. Last year, for those of you that were with us, you remember that it was the entire month of October. And the announcement for that was also very late. This year, we stressed to our leadership that this information needed to go out early, and we were able to get it out as early, as I said before, at the end of last academic year. Another reason, and we've gotten this question more internally from CUNY folks, why the push later into October? And the reason for that is because of the feedback that we received from you guys. A lot of you shared with us to say, you know, can we have more time when the school opens to work with our students, to be able to work with their list, what the application looks like, what the information they need to submit the application before the free application period. So I wanted to share that with you for a couple of reasons, because some of you may be thinking that as well, you know, why the switch in dates, and to also let you know that we listen to you guys. You know, we hear what you're saying. Please send us over any recommendations, any suggestions that you have. We really do take that seriously. And again, one of the main reasons why this was pushed later into the month of October was for that. And then the third reason was to be able to also include some time for our Macaulay Honors applicants as well. Can you share what the process will be for the fee waivers for students who miss the fee? I will most certainly do, and I'm going to touch on that right now. For those of you that are outside of the New York City public school system, so our private school, parochial, charter, right, anything like that, as long as you're in the state of New York, Rochester, New York, your dates are the first 2 months of November, November 4th until November 15th. So please keep these dates in mind. Please encourage those students that need fee waivers to apply during this time. It is crucial that they apply during that time because of the third bullet that's on this slide. We have a very limited number of fee waivers that will be available this year after November 15th. For those of you that were with us last year, we received a lot of fee waiver forms and we were able to waive those applications. With budget this year, that will not be the same. That will not be the same case. So I'm here to tell you that please, especially for those students that need the free application, they have to get the application submitted during your free application period. Okay. I want to answer the question that I just saw in the chat. So in a few slides, it may be the next one, but in a couple of slides, I'm going to talk a little bit about our counselor portal. And for our counselor portal, we love it. We've been getting great feedback. It's up-to-date live information, but we are looking to do enhancements and we are looking to add to the portal. One of the things we will be doing in the month of November is to be able to add the fee waiver process to the portal for you to be able to indicate on the portal that a student is looking for a fee waiver. But again, I'm going to stress, please make sure that your students are applying through the free application period, because it'll be a very limited amount of fee waivers available after November 15th.
Thanks so much. Anna, was that your question or do you have another question? We've got a hand raised. If you could unmute and ask your question, Anna. No, all right. We'll get her later. Can we pause Estrella to see if there's any questions in
Yep,
the room?
absolutely.
I have
Glenda
a
and
question.
Chanel. Yeah, we have some questions over there.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Anyone here? Yeah.
Yeah.
Round.
So, hi, good morning. My name is Isa too, and I'm actually an advisor, but like for post-secondary. So I have this student who applied to CUNY before, but they were ineligible for aid, so they ended up like not attending school at this time. Let's say that if the student was to reapply to CUNY, can they reapply during this time period? And if so, would they be qualified for the fee waiver?
Yeah, great question. So right now for the free application period that we're doing, they need to graduate now. So they need to be current seniors.
Okay.
But so that's the way we have how do I say this, the formula set up in the application for it to be waived. But what I will say is that we have a number of hardship waivers. So this student would need to and I can send Glenda and Sandy the link for that. So it would be just letting us know the applicant themselves would reach out to us. We have a fee waiver email address to let us know that they're requesting a fee waiver, and then they would need to submit supporting documentation.
Okay,
But
thank you
for
so
this
much.
free period, it's for high school, New York State high school seniors. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, that did. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank
Thank you for your
you.
question.
We do have some questions in the physical room as well. Chanel, can you facilitate getting those?
Will do. Here you go.
Can students submit the documents after they have turned in the free application during the period? Say they submitted the application, but Hunter requires an essay. They haven't gotten their final approval on their essay. Can they submit the essay after, and how would they do that?
Absolutely. Yes. Yes, they can. Most important thing, let's get that application submitted during the free application period, and then you can worry about the supporting documentation after. Great question.
Hello, I have two questions. Sorry. First question is, what are best practices for students who want to apply to college after the deadline? I work at a transfer school, so typically students don't really know their senior status, unfortunately, until about spring. So what do I tell a student who wants to apply to school, CUNY school after the deadline?
So are they looking to start in the spring semester?
No, in the fall, when they
They're
graduate.
looking to still start in the fall, but they're
So I
just
know
not
community schools are usually rolling admission. I mean, it's not written anywhere, but I know it's typically.
they
So I
stay
just
open later, right?
yeah, I just wanted to know a majority of our seniors aren't really sure of their senior statuses until around spring, because they're trying to get their credits, and usually there's like, oh, I'm ready to apply for CUNY school, and I never know what is the right messaging I typically say just go to the school in person, because I'm not too sure if you guys are checking CUNY apps way in spring for fall. So I just,
Is your question related to the free application period, or is your question related to just being admitted?
well, just being admitted. But then
Okay.
it ties to my other question in reference to being that late, those are students who also passed the free waiver. So there is two issues there. Either where do I get their fee waiver that late, if it's possible, and how should they even go about applying? If they should still do the online application, because they would need a fee waiver, or they just go in person, depending on the community college.
So we do have some spring fee waivers. Obviously we really want to try to get everything in the fall. So I would say if you have some students that are leaning more towards them being able to start in the fall, to submit the application and put down at least one or two community colleges, and then reach out to us to be able to add any other choices. This is, I know for transfer schools it's a little bit different. So we will work with you. We do try to keep some spring applications for these types of students to be able to help those students. So reach out to me. I can put my email address in the chat so that we can figure out what's the best thing to be able to help your students in this specific situation.
Thank you. And it's more transfer
Right. Yes.
issue. So if you guys can have like even something in the handbook specifically for those transfer students who typically are going to apply way after the deadline, that would be really helpful.
Yes. Yes. This has come up before. Thank you so much.
Couple more questions here.
Yeah, we have a couple more in the chat too. Maybe we'll take one more from each.
I
And
have
then
a few, yeah, I have a few more slides to go through.
yeah,
So I think, yeah, if we could take one or two more, Sandy, and then we can at the end open up for more
I
questions.
think that's a good way. So let's get one more from the big room and then we'll take Natisha in this virtual room. And then we'll move on.
Good morning. Every year I have students, I would love to think that this isn't going to happen, but every year I have students who either erroneously or intentionally submit the CUNY application before the window. So I'm wondering this year, what do I do if that happens again? Most likely it will. One or two kids who hit the submit button and say, oh, wait, I submitted it. It's done. I can't change it. So what do I do about those kids?
Well, I hope that your CUNY representative is helping you during this when this happens. So I would say to continue to reach out to your CUNY representative, and we will do everything we can to be able to help get the application submitted so that it is a free application. I would just say to be mindful of the time period. So just make sure to reach out to us before November 15th, if that makes sense, so that we can help work through that with you. You're not the only one. I know some students get excited. They do things on their own. And I know you guys are working with them and then they hit submit at home when you guys aren't around. We will work with you guys to be able to get those applications waived.
Cool. Thank you so much, Estrella. Let's get Natisha and then we'll open up for questions if we have time at the end. If we don't, I'm gonna put together all the questions that are left and
Great.
send them over to Estrella and then send them over to everyone that's participating in person and virtually.
Great
Natisha,
idea. Thank you so much.
yep.
Good morning. So I'm recognizing that when students are submitting the Macaulay Honors Program application and they're clicking like biology, there's an extra supplemental question. And I think it's referred to Grace STEM. Do you have any information about what the Grace STEM program is about? And is there like a required set of scores or recommendation letters that the students will have to submit?
And I'm sorry, you said when the applicant applies for biology, you're seeing what again?
The program is called Grace STEM. And they have like an extra question or two that they have to respond to. Let me see, I have it up here. And it's particularly happening when the students are applying to the Macaulay Honors Program. And they select, let's say they select Lehman. Yes, called Grace STEM Scholars at the Macaulay Honors College.
Okay. So I'm gonna be completely honest, I'm not familiar, but
Okay.
let's add this question to our doc that we're gonna put together. I'm in constant communication with Ali, who I'm sure a lot of you have met. He's probably come to your schools to do presentations or do college fairs. So I can quickly shoot him a note when I get back from NACAC to ask him to send me some more information and then we'll include that. Thank you for the question. Now I'm aware and then we'll get the information to our team and to you guys.
Okay, thank you for that, Estrella. And then for the Macaulay Honors Program, right? I'm finding that students are interested in applying to Solvi Davis and Macaulay Honors, which in my opinion are two very competitive programs. So are students still being asked to submit, I think it was up to 5 recommendation letters for Sophie Davis?
We have Anna in the room. She's gonna answer this question.
Okay,
I see her.
thank you.
Hello. So yes, right now at the current time, it is still 5 letters of recommendation. It's still the requirements for Sophie. And as normal, but something to keep in mind is that if you are having a student that's applying for both Macaulay and Sophie, even if they get into both, they cannot do both. They have to do one or the other when they end up going. Something
Right.
to make it like take consideration into is if they want to do both Macaulay and another program that's like Sophie, they might want to look into the Brooklyn BA MD program because they can work together. So Macaulay and Brooklyn College, that program works together, but Macaulay and Sophie Davis, you cannot be both. So that's just something to keep in mind. But all the regular requirements for Sophie and Macaulay are as is, and it is very selective to get into both. And so that is a tough part.
I appreciate that clarification because sometimes in my mind, I'm thinking that's too much. And I didn't see it working together, but I didn't want to give them the wrong information, but thank you.
Thank you so much for your question. And thank you so much for bringing up Macaulay because you reminded me that I wanted to share some announcements for Macaulay. I'm sure you've probably received this already from them, but while I have you, I wanted to let you all know that the decision day for this academic year for Macaulay is going to be on March 17th. Obviously, the application is currently open, as is our general freshman and general transfer. Optional test scores and optional resume to be submitted by November 15th. And the last thing I'll say on Macaulay Honors as far as announcements is letters of recommendations to be submitted for the Macaulay application. That deadline for this year is November 28th. Also keep in mind, all of the deadlines have a strict by 6 p.m. attached to it. The application deadline to Macaulay Honors is November 15th, Friday, November 15th. We saw that November 16th was a Saturday, and so we moved it up to the 15th. Okay, so again, Natisha, thank you for your question and thank you for bringing up Macaulay because you reminded me to share all of that information on the Macaulay Honors application and application process updates. So we're gonna move on. Somehow it's already 10:23, so I'm gonna try to, I know, right? This happens, right, Sandy? Okay, freshman admissions profile. This also lives on our website. On our CUNY website, you go to admissions, freshmen. You could also print this out if you search for download and print material. This is our updated. And so, you know, we just finished talking about Macaulay. You'll notice, and Anna said that is a very selective program. And we all know for those of us that have worked with applicants, it is a very selective program. But I also want to take a couple of seconds to share with you to please let your students know that schools that have Macaulay Honors also have other honors programs on their campuses, and they're taking the same classes as Macaulay Honors. The difference is that Macaulay Honors has that tuition scholarship, right? And so that they have the additional funds for the opportunity grant. But to be able to be part of an honors program and take honors classes, there are other opportunities. So please share that with the students. Let them know that it's really, really, really competitive. We're looking at the GPA right now on this slide, and it's a 96.5 GPA on average, right? It's really, really high. So just share with them that you know, it doesn't mean that we don't want them. It doesn't mean that they're lesser of a student. It's just that we can only bring in a really small amount of Macaulay applicants for each of the campuses that offer this program. And then these are our community colleges. I wanted to take a second to highlight. You'll notice that for LaGuardia Community College, we don't have College Discovery listed on here. They do still have their College Discovery program. We're just trying to get the finalized GPA. And so it'll probably be similar to last year, which was about a 72.9 GPA for the CD program. Okay. We're test optional until spring 2027. That announcement was made last year, approved by the Board of Trustees. Recommendation letter is optional, but also note on this slide the schools that require it. And that's going to be Baruch, that's going to be Hunter and Queens. And then essays are optional for the following schools. Transfer profile. This we just added in here just to let you know. I know sometimes you guys will work with your students even after they've left, right? Maybe they've gone to a community college and they still come to you for advice to continue their college journey. So this is just giving you an idea of what our transfer GPA are, what we're looking for as far as the credits. This is also lives on our website. And then campus-based support services. I'm going to try to go quickly, guys. So these are just some examples of everything we offer. We have so many different resources available to our students. It's all about asking and seeing what we have. I mean, we have, as I mentioned before, disability and accessibility resources. We have food pantry. We have mental health counseling. Obviously, we have tutoring centers, writing centers, CLIP, for those students that need to strengthen their English, seeking college discovery, emergency loans. Okay, so ASAP ACE. So we like to think that we have a little bit of everything. So if a student is looking or if they need to stop going to school, please make sure that they're first checking to see all of the resources that we have, because I'm sure there's something in place that we can help the student stay in college and continue until graduation. The council portal. So I want to spend a little bit of time on here. So the portal, for those of you that received last year our application status reports, we would email from our office an attachment that would show you all of your students, where they've applied, and what their status is. Prior to that, if you could believe it or not, we used to print them out, email them to the principal, and the principal will hopefully eventually send them down to you. But by the time you guys got them, the information was already so old. So we're so excited to be able to have the portal, because this information is live information. So you log into the portal and you're able to see exactly what your student is able to see when they log into CUNY First. On this slide, we listed out some of the key features, as I just mentioned, real time, application view. You are able to also filter, which is probably on the next slide. You're able to filter out the information you want. So for example, if you want to see a list of all the students that are still incomplete, you can filter that way. If you want to see a list of the opposite, of all the students that are complete, or just your Macaulay applicants, you can filter that in the portal. We have been using the portal since May 15th when we launched. We wanted to do it in the spring so that we gave folks time to use it in the spring when it wasn't the opening of the school year. And now we are in the process of granting access to new counselors, any counselors that have switched to new schools. So if that is you, please work with Glenda and Sandy, and we can work on making sure to get you access. We work really closely with NYCPS, and they verify to make sure that you are the person to get access for your school. And we will go ahead and get that for you. Some of the key features I just mentioned, and now I have a minute, so I'm going to skip through to the next one. Timeline. Again, we launched May 15th. I'll never forget that date. It was a really exciting day for our office. We have enhancements that we're looking to add. So even though we've been around now since May, we know that there's things that we want to improve on. We know that we want to use the portal for more. So we're really hoping that in the month of November, we're going to be able to upload documents. How amazing would that be for you guys to be able to log into the portal and upload documents? And we're also hoping that we'll be able to use the portal for the fee waiver process. But again, please make sure you're submitting all applications during the free month. So that is what is shown on here. And wow, finished right at 10:30. Last slide. So a lot of you guys probably recognize this amazing undergraduate recruitment team that I get to work with. This is all of New York City. You guys have Anna with you in the room. She does Manhattan. We have one person that does Queens, 2 people that do Brooklyn, 2 people that do the Bronx. Eddie does Staten Island and New Jersey, and a little bit of Brooklyn. We have Bronx, and then our CBO coordinator, which Charlotte actually, I believe, co-presented with me last year. So you guys are probably really familiar with her as well. So that is the end of my presentation. Maybe we have time for a couple more questions. Not sure, Sandy.
Yeah, if you guys could tell me in the room if we could take like 5 more minutes, would that be all right, Chanel and Glenda?
Yeah, I think we can take 5 more minutes. Any
Okay, if
questions?
you've got
Laura?
the time, Estrella, we'll take 5 more minutes of it. While you're looking around your room, I have a number of questions in my room. One quick question, since you were mentioning the portal, is there any prospect of having access for CBO counselors at all to the counselor portal? Oh, you're muted, Estrella.
Thank you. I'm
No
trying to
worries.
also quickly go to the portal slide. So yes, we are in conversations about that very, very same thing, right? So like if you're a CBO that works in a high school, you probably were already getting the application status reports. So you can and you should be getting access to the portal. If you're a CBO that works in a community center, that is what we're trying to talk through right now. So I don't have an answer for you right now, Sandy, but it's on our list of things to do and to be able to hopefully talk about how we can give access, right? Because there's some things, we want to make sure these folks are trained properly. We want to make sure there's no duplicate work that's coming from the high school and from the CBO partner. So things like that we really need to talk through and make sure that that is set before we open that. But it is something on our mind.
Chanel, you have questions over there?
Yep, we do have one.
Okay, let's get one from over there.
The person that had access to the council corner is no longer working with us, and I don't have it. So how do I go about getting it?
That is a great question because I want everyone to hear this question and the answer. On our Counselor Corner page, when you go to the Counselor Portal section, there's going to be a access form, request access. So please fill out that form and then we will get you access.
Okay, we got one more question here.
Yeah, let's get that last question, and if we still have a minute, I have a million, but I'll pick it.
This is a very quick one.
Mm.
Just logistically, when a student is finishing the application, they just press, I have a fee waiver, and then submit during that period.
So, let's rewind a little bit. When the student is entering in the section on the application of the high school and the graduation date and all of that, a couple of things I want you guys to know. Make sure that the student is selecting the high school from the drop-down box and not free writing the name in the application, because that is, it doesn't connect for us. And then we have to manually go in and do the waiving of the application. And as you guys know, we get a ton of applications, so that takes time. And also make sure dates of graduation are submitted correctly to and from, and that the end graduation date is also submitted. So like June 15th, right, 2025. Make sure that all of that is submitted correctly. And then Anna, I know you're in the room. Correct me if I'm wrong. Last year it was to pay later, and then that's how we waived the fee, correct?
So it's automatically applied onto the application itself. So as long as you're making sure you're meeting what like our criteria is, which is the dates of graduation are between like January 2025 to August 31st, 2025. And then as long as they're selecting the school and not typing it in. And then for those students who have an OSIS number, they're putting their OSIS number in as long as they're meeting those criteria. And then also that they're considered a 12th grade student on their transcript, because and I'm sure you had that scenario where we sometimes had students who were considered 10th graders or 11th graders. And then because of that, you have to let us know, because they will not automatically get that fee waiver applied onto it, because we think this is an 11th grader. Why are they applying? Yeah.
So they won't have to pick a payment option at all, Anna.
They won't have to pick a payment option at all. Basically is the short end of the short answer for this. Yeah. It'll automatically be applied. If there is an issue, you can always feel free to reach out to us and let us know.
We had that question twice in the chat over here too.
Okay, awesome. The other thing I want to say with the applications, make sure you hit the submit button. I can't tell you how many times our office gets emails on applications that they want us to check the status, but the application that's the last page. That's the last piece of the application. Make sure that submit is entered, and that we're not just stopping at the payment, because it's payment, and then after that they have to hit submit on the application.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Estrella. Thank you to the big room and thank you to the virtual room. For the folks in the virtual room, as we say goodbye, I'm gonna launch a poll. We're trying to get feedback in the best way. It's very important for us to be able to continue to bring these great updates, that we get information from you guys on how you feel about these. But any last words, Estrella, as we have people evaluating us?
Yeah, no, I mean, be honest, please, and Glenda and Sandy, please share these results with me so I know how to change things up for next year. Just, reach out to us. We're here to help you. Again, like I said in the beginning of the presentation, I'm super excited to be able to expand the team so that we can do a little bit more and to be able to provide faster customer service to you guys. And so you have your CUNY representatives, you can reach out to them. Sometimes they may be busy traveling for a few days in a row. So if you really, really need a quick answer, feel free to reach out to me.
Thank you, Estrella. Yeah, and we'll reach back out to people with the answers. There's only a handful of questions here. We'll send them to Estrella. She's going to be at a conference for the next however long. So after that, she will give us the answers and we'll share it back with participants and also put it onto our CAAN archives. So do not despair. Do not despair. And please answer the poll. Please do not leave without answering the poll. Thank you, Estrella. I hope you have a safe trip.
Thank you so much. And thank you to Anna as well for her help. And to Fahim, who's not here, who put together this awesome presentation. Have a great rest of the semester and the year. And please reach out if you need us.
Thank you so much.
Bye,
Estrella.
everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Be well,
Bye.
everyone. Thanks for coming.
Thank you. Fill out the poll. Before you leave, please do fill out the poll and feel free to drop any leftover questions, which I will get back to you about for sure, for 100%. Thank you so much.